All right, everyone, it's time to take exception with something that was tweeted about yesterday by Bill Mitchell. Now, he's a commentator. He's sort of on the MAGA right. He's actually a Trump fan. So sometimes he says things that are sane, but then he decided to do the boomer thing. The moralist thing, the satanic panic era style thing, and dig into it. You figured the words coming from his mouth were too mundane, so he decided to scratch his ass, and what came out was this tweet. So I'm gonna read it to you from the archived link in the description. Just a hint, says Bill Mitchell. If a student is 1, a loner, 2, quiet, 3, is bullied, 4, loves violent video games, and 5, wears a trench coat to school, you can pretty much profile them as a potential mass shooter. You couldn't be more wrong, and I would love to see, by the way, from him or anyone else, what's the statistics on how many of these shooters actually fall into any of those categories? Have you actually got a study that you can point to prove that? You're talking about people being bullied. Okay, well then that's 90% of the student population, variously. Including some of the bullies were just bullied themselves, so that's basically everyone. So that's a pretty broad category. Yeah, I think you can profile them all as potential school shooters. And I guess the 500-pound solid chunk of muscle over there that's never going to get bullied, he doesn't need the guns. He'll just, punch people in the head or something. So, okay, that one, okay, maybe that one works. Violent video games, again, that's pretty broad. That's basically everyone at this point. How do you profile violent video games anyway? This has been a claim that's been made since the 80s. Oh my god, Super Mario, he's stomping on the heads of his enemies. That's really violent. Oh, my pixelated blood. Oh, Hexen or something. You get some really, really outdated Armorines Project Swarm. You ever play that? It's basically non-stop killing of mutants based on the Turok generators. Oh yeah, Turok, yeah, another great example. Virtua Fighter, oh my god. No, violent video games do not cause violence, nor are they associated with violence. If they were, trust me, we'd be living in a really, really chaotic society. Especially with modern games, now you have VR. Like, there's VR net for Fallout 4. I am really, really fucking tempted to get one of those, and I'm like part of the skeptical on VR crowd. But then I saw sort of a thing about that. I'm like, this could actually work. This could be kind of interesting. I would like to punch those synths in real life. A loner, okay, again, that's probably, 10-20% of the student population. It's a lot of people. You're talking about a million students, Bill. Quiet. Oh, I was a loner, quiet kid in school. I never shot anything up. I avoided conflict. As for wearing a trench coat, okay, this is basically like, oh, your kid wore a trench coat. They play. This sounds almost exactly the same as the sort of categorization system from that Satanic Panic document. Oh, your kid might be getting into witchcraft or Satanism. If they're quiet, they're just kind of on the fringes, they're not really part of the in crowd. They're wearing the gothic clothes and playing Dungeons and Dragons. Oh no, look out, they're gonna start cutting off a cat's head and listening to Iron Maiden, really, really, really fringe music. Twisted Sister, oh my god, it's my worst enemy, Ozzy Osbourne. Shit, And it's all very, very funny in retrospect, but then you have this being taken seriously here. And how is this any different from the claim that the presence of guns is going to cause a shooting? There, at least, you're identifying the object involved in a shooting rather than what he wears or his classification within the weird cliques of the average middle or high school. Now, this is bullshit. It's bullshit the same way that the left always says, well, if only we take guns away from law-abiding people, nuts won't use guns. It's flawless. Our logic follows completely. And Bill Mitchell's actually, somewhat intelligent, so I'm assuming this is just a holdover view he has from the boomer era. And I think sometimes, I don't like to do the ageism thing because I've met people who are with it that are, twice my age in many cases, as well as people that are half my age that are with it. And then most people my own age, it's like, if you're a fan of the channel, maybe, but, most millennials still are in la la land. They think that socialism can work, so what more needs to be said? I think that people who are further removed from having been in school, and further removed from sort of the internet era in a way. Bill Mitchell's, I guess, with it because he's got his own, his podcast, his Twitter and everything. He's quite popular online, maybe with the MAGA crowd. But he's much more removed from having been in school than, let's say, someone my age or someone in Gen Z. I think that may play a role, Bill. I don't know what you're talking about, dude. You know, millions of people fall into your classification. So in other words, the next time it's sort of like when they talk about crime in the sense that like a Hillary Clinton would talk about it. Oh, you know, the super predators. It's like that dude with the hoodie listens to rap music, likes maybe his handgun a little too much. He's a potential thug in training or something. Okay, well, go ahead and take that. And try to say that on the national stage and see if you're taken seriously. You know, this claim is made about literally fucking everything, especially with video games. Video games, music, stuff like that, movies, you know, in the age before video games, it's really about music and movies. These are the claims that are made over and over and over again. Slasher flicks cause violence. Freddy Krueger is causing your kid to embrace Satanism. You know, Grand Theft Auto is going to make your kid actually attempt to steal a car and run people down because for some reason, nobody can tell the fucking difference between reality and this really great 3D of the N64. Wow, it's so realistic. It's bullshit. It's the same claim that's made over and over again. Everyone is always trying to oversimplify these sort of situations. I can tell you what's actually responsible. With school shootings, it's not bullying, it's systemic harassment. It's not just the lonely kid, it's people who have mental illnesses that are being poorly treated. That's the problem, and it's not guns, it's specifically guns that end up in the hands of people that are going to use them wrongfully. The left wants to blame just guns in general. Gun manufacturers, certain types of guns, and when they can't blame them, they revert to that same conversation anyway. He killed a bunch of people with a revolver and a shotgun. Oh goodness, the AR-15 is still their boogeyman. They can't wrap their heads around the fact that a firearm that could be manufactured in the mid-1800s and was quite common back then would be used in a modern shooting. They just can't understand it. Then they make that piss-poor bullshit lie. Oh, we don't want to take anyone's guns. We just want to take certain kinds. Good fucking luck. Yes, okay, let's crack down on a class of weapons that have no real advantages over any other hunting rifle. Let's just crack down on them, though, because they look scary. That's what it boils down to. They look scary, and a handful of veterans that have gotten severe brain injuries actually believe that it's the same weapon they used over in Korea or fucking Vietnam or something. Sorry, but it's not. Yeah. Gotta take exception with Bill Mitchell on this one, though. I mean, come on, you should know better. You're obviously a sane individual, you know, you're a Trump MAGA populist, so you have some understanding of politics, and yet you come out with this bullshit. No, you're totally and completely wrong. Again, show me the statistics. Did the police compile a report saying how many school shooters had worn a trench coat to school routinely? And then you managed to obtain this document? Oh, yeah, 40% of school shooters wear trench coats. That's a correlation. I don't think so. Oh, loner. Yeah, well, yeah, the other students, if they've systemically harassed somebody, yeah, probably thereafter, they're going to say, oh, yeah, we always knew he was crazy and stuff like that. Yeah, in some cases, it might be that they themselves feel a little bit guilty and culpable. Look at the Parkland cult. You've got an open admission by one of the Parkland cult members that she systemically harassed the shooter there. Well, there's a little bit of a problem now, isn't it? Harassment's a big problem in schools. Not bullying, that's normal. It's like you insult somebody. Who cares? But if you constantly run them down every time you see them for 4 years, it might begin to take a toll on their mental state. Yeah, absolutely it might. You know, maybe that kid's also being run down at home, run down by other people, has literally no friends. And then you're trying to crack down on online discourse so they can't even go and take out their aggression by like shit posting or something like that. You're going to cause more shootings. School shootings will probably become more common as the internet becomes more mature and speech is cracked down on. Thank goodness alt tech exists. We need alt domain registry now. Alt fundraising, alt banking, alt everything. Everything should be alt, essentially, because big tech is beginning to let things up. Look at Google cutting out Don't Be Evil mainly from its employee code of conduct. Why do you think they chose this particular time to do that? Even if it does just have to do with like spam and stuff, it wasn't originally meant to have anything to do with liberty or what you would think of as evil. You know, the average person looks at spam. Spam is an annoyance. Evil is, hey, you're systemically harassing people of certain political or religious or social viewpoints. That's evil. That's not what Google had in mind, but it is telling that they would choose now to quietly remove it, like they thought in a million years that it wouldn't be noticed. That's bullshit. Absolutely, they knew that an employee was going to leak it to the press. That's about all. Peace out.